I've been coming to Ground Zero for the past 5 years, giving out free literature and free DVDs at Ground Zero during our weekly vigils. Whenever we were attacked at Ground Zero, we always let it go and we never fought back, because we stand strongly by the principles of Gandhi, and also because Ground Zero is a holy place that should be respected. But there's a situation I'm going to have to make public. I have to show you video of this provocateur attacking us every Saturday at Ground Zero this year, because it may lead to a very dangerous situation. Again, viewer discretion is advised. The language you're about to hear is obscene.
NIMT fake race has solid evidence. You covering up, you killing 2,000 people again. That's what you do. You kill the victims. You don't support any shit. You don't support first responders, because the first responders do not. No player! I'm no player! I'm no player! I'm player!
This is a typical British strategy. You've got to know the name of Brigadier General Sir Frank Kitson. He was the British operations officer in Kenya at the time of the Mau Mau. And what Kitson saw, which has been known to commanders for centuries, millennia, if you've got an underground nationalist organization and you want to discredit them, you create your own parallel underground nationalist organization. You send them out. It's got to have the same name. It's got to have a false flag. You send them out, have it commit tremendous atrocities. Those will be blamed on the original relatively benign group, and they'll be discredited, they'll be demonized, and you gain political advantage.
Yeah, they should arrest you anyway.
Let's talk about what happened on 42nd Street, right in Times Square, and it happened about 3:40 in the morning, over 24 hours ago.
This particular recruiting center has been the scene of demonstrations for decades. Sure. I remember during my day in the Vietnam era, that same, it's right in the middle of Times Square. It's perfectly located. So it is where, it's like a magnet for these crazy people, sure, for anarchists. That's what I think this is. I think that this bomber isn't Al-Qaeda, isn't anything like that. He's more like, it's a man, he's more like those 9/11 was an inside job kind of guys. They protesting in a violent way, but in a violent way almost like the eco-terrorists, where they don't intend to inflict casualties.
But they do it in the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
There's a reason why this madman comes to Ground Zero right after the Times Square bombings with a big sign saying "We did it," and saying that we are responsible for the Times Square bombings and that we should be arrested for it.
Coming up, the Pentagon shooter was one of those conspiracy theorists who believes 9/11 was an inside job. What will that mean to that movement?
You send them out. It's got to have the same name. It's got to have a false flag. You send them out, have it commit tremendous atrocities. Those will be blamed on the original relatively benign group, and they'll be discredited, they'll be demonized, and you gain political advantage. He wrote a book about it called Low Intensity Operations. And the technique is called the technique of the counter gang or the pseudo gang. Just as Al-Qaeda, in the broader sense, is a pseudo gang or counter gang created by US and British and Israeli intelligence. It's a counter gang against normal Arab nationalists or anybody with any positive agenda for reform or independence or development anywhere in the Arab world. They can always be labeled Al-Qaeda. The reductio ad absurdum of this is President Chavez of Venezuela, after giving Bush a hard time at various conferences and doing things to undermine the dollar, the neocons are now accusing President Chavez of being a member of Al-Qaeda. So you can see how easy it is to demonize somebody once you've got a good counter gang going.
It's now being documented beyond a doubt, based on historical records, that the CIA, the MI6, teamed up with very, very secretive parallel elements of European intelligence services and orchestrated terrorist attacks to mobilize the public against the left, against the communists, and so on and so forth. And this would be really shocking to people if they knew that this is what happened. And this is what happened. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the best book on it is Daniel Ganser's book, NATO's Secret Armies. So this is serious academic stuff.
A little while ago, I'd say about 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to go into Boston to celebrate the Boston Tea Party. That was an event that happened many years ago when the people in this part of the country didn't like the fact that they were taxed without representation, that they started feeling the tyranny of this, great regal power called England. And so what they did was they turned around and threw the tea from the East India Tea Company, I believe, into the drink in Boston Harbor. Well, I found out that there were some people there that were actually questioning the 9/11 Commission report, and that their intent was, on this anniversary of the Tea Party, was to take the 9/11 Commission report and throw it into the drink also, saying that it had no value and maybe we should really find out what's going on. So as part of the real story, I went to investigate.
Thank you for coming down to Faneuil Hall. This is Daniel Happney. Yes, I'm here with my patriotic eyes so that I could spend time with you and show you what some patriots here in America are actually doing. 9/11 was an inside job, and that the 9/11 Commission report probably should spend its time in the drink. Yes, we're going to go chuck it in the drink, kind of like the tea. We're going to walk around and meet some people. We're also going to march. We're going to throw some 9/11 Commission reports into the drink. Why? Because we think they omitted data.
Whereas the current administration blocked and delayed for 441 days any investigation into 9/11. Whereas the 9/11 Commission made no effort to determine guilt, no effort at all, and said so, said it was not their mandate, that the 9/11 Commission made no attempt at legal accountability. From the outset, the 9/11 Commission assumed the truth of the official conspiracy theory that is a tissue of lies, that it was supposed to officially investigate, and ignored, distorted, and suppressed all testimony, evidence, and suspects that did not fit its predetermined conclusion, making a mockery of its self-stated mandate to, quote, provide the fullest possible account of the events surrounding 9/11. The 9/11 Commission Executive Director himself, Philip Zellica, has acknowledged that he is an expert in the creation and maintenance of public mythologies, which the 9/11 Commission, his product, is one. A number of official story hijackers trained at U.S. military bases. The plane into tower military exercises on 9/11, not even mentioned in the report. Why was Bush just sitting in the classroom? Karl Rove himself has said on national TV he was waiting for the drill to be over. Whereas the 9/11 Commission failed to investigate and completely left out of its report any mention of World Trade Center 7, which, though hit by no plane or any significant debris, collapsed at a near free-fall speed on 9/11, similar to World Trade Centers 1 and 2, all three buildings in classic controlled demolition that requires at least 2 weeks, if not more, of pre-placing explosives in a building to which Al-Qaeda, in quotes, could never have had such sustained access.
We hope that you will recognize the association of patriots and truth as opposed to traitors and lies, and these terms are not interchangeable. To be clear, though, it is only fair to help define patriot. By definition, it is one who loves, supports, and defends one's own country. The heroic participation of many colonists during the American Revolution gives us our other best examples of what a patriot is.
It was an inside job! 9/11 was an inside job! proof, just see the truth. 9/11 was an inside job. Got the proof, just see the truth. We are doing this as patriots to take back our country. We demand the truth.
Psy-Op.
I think we have a very good platform that's very appealing to the people who care about what's happening in this country. I think we're also tapping into the sense of frustration that people are feeling. I think it's much more intense than anybody realized, probably more intense than I had expected.
What is the typical Ron Paul supporter?
Well, the typical supporter is nondescriptive because they're different. They're very, very diverse. They come from all ranks and files, all colors, and all parties. We get Democrats and independents and Republicans, and I like to kid, we even get a few anarchists who'll come to our rallies. So it's everybody's coming together that's sick and tired of big government, and they don't trust the major parties and the leadership of either party right now, and but they do not fit one description.
All of a sudden, the Ron Paul campaign seems like the Ron Paul movement.
1,500 people packed into the War Memorial Auditorium to see Paul speak. The Republican is making waves for his anti-war limited government position.
This is just a small example of the types of things that are happening really across the country.
Technique is called the technique of the counter gang or the pseudo gang.